So this is a special video because it is literally the day after I made the last one. And this job just makes me even more mad every single day I go there. Working 6 days a week, this is my sixth day. And you figured they'd be grateful because I am only scheduled for 5 days a week. But no, they aren't grateful at all. I come in there and I'm put directly into the freezer and am immediately put to work because the trucks that we have loaded into the freezer are all placed backwards to where on the turret truck, the turret forklift, I am forced to get up off of it every minute to turn the skid around in order to get the barcode to be able to place it inside a shelf. So I end up going and get a electric pallet jack, or a scooter as they call it there, and spend the whole first 2 or 3 hours of my shift today reorganizing the trucks that we put into the freezer yesterday. And so after 3 hours, I go hop back on my turret forklift to begin putting the pallets up in the shelves to make room. And we get a truck in the produce area. They check it in, and I go and ask around for help to have someone else run the truck into the freezer so I don't have to get back off my turret forklift to run it myself, like I have done in the past, because when I asked my boss for help over the walkie talkie, there was no response. And in the past, I had to do it myself when I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to do everything myself. I am operating both a turret truck forklift and a scooter at the same time. Now, I managed to get people, two of my supervisors, to come and help me. As I asked them when they are done working and whatever they were doing, if they had time to come and bring in this truck that we got into the produce into the freezer for me so I wouldn't have to get off my forklift and do it myself. Now, while I'm working on the turret forklift, putting up one of the trucks, because we had like 3 of them in this morning, sitting there from yesterday, these two that I asked for help only bring in 5 skids of the fish that is currently defrosting in the refrigerator, the produce section. We got a whole truckload of fish in. They bring in 5 skids and nothing else. And instead of coming to tell me that they don't want to do it anymore and that they're done helping me, they just disappear. So it takes me a while to figure out that they're not helping me anymore. And you'd figure that there would be some sort of priority over getting these into the freezer before the fish defrosts, but there isn't. So I hop back off my turret forklift again, and I run the truck with my other coworker who was in the freezer with me at that time, because they sent 2 of us into the freezer at the same time. That is why I was on the scooter, as I mentioned earlier, rearranging the trucks, was so it would be more time efficient and we both wouldn't be getting pissed off at the same time. So We both end up running this truck that came into the freezer, and well, into the produce section, into the freezer, wasting more of our time. Keep in mind, I asked for help. So at the end of the day, around 12 o'clock, my boss decides to finally show himself and give a crap about what was going on in my area that I was put in. And as per usual, it was my own fault because, well, I tried telling my boss that we were set up for failure from the day before because there was no communication about the new change that we were doing. No one decided to communicate to the other guys yesterday about the changing of the pallet directions. He didn't care about any of that, and it ended up the blame being placed on me because for some reason where I work, none of the supervisors or management team can take accountability for themselves. And so it was my fault that nothing really got done today because I didn't go and ask my boss for help. And keep in mind, as I mentioned earlier, I asked him for help before. Previous days, I asked him for help. He doesn't care. They don't care. And this place, it just makes no sense. And this is just the general work culture of my work is no one really cares. And I'll tell you something happened earlier this month, earlier like 2 weeks ago or so, when we started receiving trucks into the produce. We were getting frozen fish in that needed to be put in the freezer. And me and a couple other guys who were in the freezer as well did not want to go run the pallets ourselves because, like, there should be other people to do that. I shouldn't have to go and operate 3 vehicles at a time in a warehouse that has a fully staffed receiving department. And I don't know when they're going to end up drawing the line and actually, like, giving the other people their responsibility because I should not being pulled 3 different directions and being blamed for every little thing that happens like I'm some sort of manager too. Every single day I leave this job, I end up hating it more and more. And once more, if you're still paying attention, this week currently we have had 3 people leave this job. Sunday morning I came into work and we had one of the women in receiving department get fired for whatever reason. We had another one of my coworkers just no call no show quit on Monday or Tuesday, and we had another one of my coworkers walk out and quit yesterday. And again, they don't want to address any of these issues. That is why I'm making these Google review video things. They don't want to address any issues in this place. They just put the blame on other people. They never take accountability for anything. I just hope someone who has the power can see this and do something beneficial with this workplace because no one is going to want to stay here. No one wants this job. No one wants anything to do with this place. There is no benefits or bonuses. Nothing. They got bad product they can't sell on their own warehouse, like their own stores, such as crushed cans, um, cases that have product missing out of it, anything of the sort like that, they do not give it off to their workers for free. They just throw it away. Poor waste management, if I say so myself. They have they receive in product that's crushed and moldy or whatever. They just they do stupid stuff with it. And like I said, there's no bonuses. There's no really good benefits to working here. You get treated like you don't have a social life. You get belittled at work too. Like you're somehow not allowed out of the freezer every 45 to 50 minutes to warm up again. And that is another big pet peeve of mine working here too, is the fact that when I'm in the freezer all day for my entire shift, whenever I go out of the freezer to warm up and they see me out there warming up in the general area of the warehouse, a member of management or supervisor team races over to me and questions me, "Hey, what are you doing out here?" I have to tell them that I'm warming myself up because I'm a human being. Like somehow that doesn't connect in their brain. And then today, my supervisor races over to me. He's like, "You were just out here not even 10 minutes ago." Um, and then I looked over at my coworker who also came out there with me. I was about to just ask the question. So, was I not just in there, put up 8 skids? No, I guess I wasn't. It just this place makes no sense. They make you feel like you're a shitty worker. There is nothing in this job that encourages you to do better. No one here says good job. They always want to put you down like you're some sort of robot. And I'll tell you what, when I get hired in, if I get hired in, if I last long enough in this place, I am really going to turn it around. Turn it around as in when they put me in the freezer and I'm hired in, a part of the union that they have here, that's why they pay this crappy wage, $15 an hour, because we're a part of a union. So when I'm hired in and I'm unionized, I am going to stay in the freezer for 8 hours a day. And sooner or later, I'm going to get frostbite and I'm going to sue the crap out of this place. Like you wouldn't even believe. If nothing changes still and I'm hired in and I'm covered by insurance and whatever, I'm going to stay in the freezer for however long it takes for them to actually give a crap. I'm going to get frostbite. I'm going to come out there with a, a purple nose. I don't care. I'm going to get payback because at this point, my patience is wearing very thin working here.